Nayiri.
Okay.
Nayiri. I always say it wrong.
You said it right now.
Nayiri. Your first question you ask of Mike, and you have he has a 2.5-minute response.
Mike, because of the unusual schedule of this election, we're going to have 2 primaries and 2 generals. Many in the audience have expressed to me the need for democratic unity. And Mike, would you pledge to suspend your campaign and support the Democratic primary winner if you were to not win in April?
So absolutely not. There are 2 elections going on at once right now. There's the April election and the June election. They have vastly different electorates. As many of you know, the April election is an open primary. So that means Republicans can cross over and vote for Democrats. And for that reason, I'm not sure that whoever wins April, I mean, it could be me, it could be Mr. Karoglian, it could be you, that person will necessarily be the Democratic nominee. One could imagine a scenario where someone takes very, very milquetoast positions that conflict with our democratic values, and that person could try to appeal to Republicans and could get elected based on taking very, very middle-of-the-road positions that I think conflict with our democratic values, and could get elected based on a Republican vote. And for that reason, I think that it's important to continue to fight this out in the June Democratic primary, which is a closed primary. It's a true primary. And I think it's one that, the ballots have already been printed, all of our names are on it. I say keep fighting. Thank you.
You have 30-second response.
Sure. So I think it's going to be important for us to unify on April 13th or 14th, rather. Senator Romani is running without any word of being a Republican on his mail pieces. He's putting himself out as the nonpartisan, as the middle-of-the-road guy. And I think it's going to be very difficult for the Democratic Party to be waging 2 wars, one against another Democrat and one against a fellow Democrat and one against a Republican in June.
Okay, now you have the opportunity to ask your first question of Shahid.
Okay. Shahid, one of the biggest problems in public education policy is how the state funds public education. So currently in our state funds, schools are funded based on average daily attendance. So that means that if a student is absent and not in their seat and is out sick, the school does not get funding for that student, even though the school bears the cost. So what are some of your ideas for reforming public education funding?
First of all, the problem is not with schools, it's not with education, the problem is with Sacramento. The 2/3 majority that's choking us up there and not allowing the necessary funds to be trickling down to the education is what needs to be done at the forefront to begin with. Now, as far as the schools are concerned, having been an educator, coming from an education background as far as my parents were concerned, and now I'm proud to say my 19-year-old son is an educator himself. I have been through the system as both a student and a teacher. The problem is not within the classroom. The problem is how the structure is most of the time forced upon the teachers, most of the time forced upon the administrators to conduct several tests throughout the year in order to obtain what is called tangible result, in order to be able to prove whether that class is meeting its needed or required educational level or not. I'm talking about the 3 tests that each and every year all the students have to take. To me, that is a waste of time. All that can be consolidated in one test that can save time teaching, that can save money for the school to do other programs, and not necessarily and only focus on which student is attending and who is not attending, rather focusing on what education we're providing. Because eventually, if we're talking about expanding job opportunities, providing job opportunities, we need to have educated youth in order to take those jobs. Otherwise, we will be keeping on importing employees from overseas, and our children, our youth, will not be able to work in whatever position, in whatever jobs we have.
Nayiri, would you like to do a rebuttal or response? Okay.